Haribo. Mr. Pradhan.
Namaskar.
E Ana Aline começou. O microfone está ligado.
How are you today, Tony?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Cold out today, huh?
It's not cold like Saskatchewan.
Agora. Hare Krishna.
Haribo, Haribo, dry Srimati Devi. That's Devi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The flowers.
Oh. Dhanyavad, dhanyavad, dhanyavad.
Olha para ele que são primaveras.
Pranam. Srimati Didi.
Dandavad. Prabhu, this is primaveras.
Primavera.
Primavera. Spring. Spring.
Spring is primavera.
Yeah.
Springtime.
Three colors of primavera. Para Maharaj. To Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hi.
Yeah.
It's hibiscus, no?
I don't understand it.
Hibiscus, no? Don't understand English, huh? We call hibiscus flower, I think.
Flower.
Flower.
How do you say flower?
Fleur.
Primavera.
Primavera, spring, yes.
Namaste, Tony.
Yay. Hello. Namaskar.
Nice haircut.
Thank you. Yeah.
Are you at home, Tony?
Yes, sir.
You're at home? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Srimati Didi. La Flora? See or no? You're on mute. Nalini Didi. La Flora, is that what you call in Portuguese also? La Flora? No. Flower?
Em português é primavera.
Em português é spring. I don't know if spring is primavera.
What about flower?
What kind? What kind?
How do you say the word flower?
Flower, floor.
Floor.
Yes, yes.
Flor.
Floor. Chama pra fora?
Já mostrei, já falei que tinha 3 tipos, só pra daquele jeito lá. Vou mostrar de novo.
We call this primavera.
They call the flower primavera.
Uh,
Very beautiful.
Rosado.
What?
In Spanish, pink is rosado.
Oh,
Oh,
em espanhol.
pergunta se ele está estudando espanhol.
Srimad asked, you are studying Spanish?
When I was in grade school, we learned very basic.
Oh, very good.
Nice. Actually, I'm really bad at Spanish. So I can understand because Portuguese. It's some words are understanding, but I am really bad at
São
Spanish.
parecidos, né?
Yeah.
Yeah, flora is similar. You say flora is Portuguese. I think in Spanish is flora. La flora.
Yes.
So Tony is wearing sannyas color today.
I was running because I brought my cartons to play
Oh, okay.
today.
Nice.
You know, the mic is up.
Looks okay. Looks okay, huh? Bright it up.
No, your mic,
My mic is not up.
it's sticking up.
My mic is sticking out. Oh. Is that better? No prasadam distribution tomorrow in Princeton. Tony, you will be there? His mic is muted.
Hopefully Asha won't be there.
I'm sorry, you'll be there? Yes.
There's a lady, Asha, she actually, she claims that she does a lot of charity work in Princeton.
Yes,
She's
we
like
know her.
I don't know, she's like, doesn't have a very good rapport. And she comes by, she won't spend a minute to pray or not even a second. And which is, she has a reputation of doing the such things in Princeton. She says she's claiming charity, but Princeton seriously takes care of their residents very well. It doesn't have to be in Princeton. I don't know. I mean, you know, she won't stay for a second. She would say, you know, I have to go. I have, you know, she won't stay for a second, but she takes it because, you know, just anyway, I don't want to say more things, might be negative, but yeah, there are a lot of people who are interested, but they just not getting the time, you know. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of people interested, but they're not just their children or whatever. But they do like the prasad, and once in the beginning I had given it to some people, and they just praised it a lot. A lot of them are familiar, local Americans, but they're just not getting the time to come by or spend time. But I do bring people, like people I know from the street. I do bring every time at least 2-3 people who come by and, you know, get interested for a few minutes. So, yeah, that's kind of a good thing. People know it, but just they you know, people are, you know, Sunday they're just not able to spend the time. Yeah. And yeah, so
What to do? Huh?
the
Only for a
Muslims.
few people like you who come and they want to come again and again. Most
Well,
people,
I'll do that because you guys are doing it. It's just I feel obligated. The Muslim society in Princeton, what they did is for Thanksgiving, they had that turkey dinner, and they went and distributed that in Trenton, 1-to-1, and they have a big society. But in this case, like Princeton doesn't have, like Asha says that she's giving to poor people, but Princeton seriously is the disadvantaged people in Princeton are very well taken care of because they know I'm involved with them. You know, it's not a question of them not getting food or anything. It doesn't happen in Princeton. But you know, if Asha comes, she really needs to stay. This is not like, you know, this is not a food pantry. You know, you need to come for, you know, you need to come and discourse that. You know, I mean, say a thing or two. When people come to discuss, they're either interested or they have some questions to talk about, or they seem to disagree with some of the statements in the tent because the knowledge of Krishna, whatever, is different from whatever, you know. And but what happens is during the week, I run into at least 1 or 2 who seem to say things, but anyway, they need to come. Hopefully they'll come tomorrow. So, yeah.
Asha doesn't like to stay.
Yeah, no, not even for a single. She doesn't even want to get out of the car. Yeah, she claims, like, I know her from before. She claims she does things, but nobody believes that. Yeah. It's a small community. Princeton is not a big community, so everybody kind of literally knows who's doing what within the community. Yeah. I did pass the water around, but some people say, you know, can you bring it and keep it in your fridge? So, wow, sure. No, that's not the thing. They have to come and, like, at least get involved or tell us your views, or, you know, let's get participatory.
Well, they should come at least for kirtan and prasad.
Right. At least, yeah, not stay in the car and, you know, not stay in the car and have somebody bring it over to you, like boxes of food. That's like, so, you know. But, you know, I mean, there is everybody appreciates. I mean, I haven't seen anything.
If you can get them to say at least Hare Krishna, can you get them to say Hare Krishna?
Yeah, I've got people like who chanted and stuff.
Okay, that's good.
Ring the bell and then go.
If you can do that much,
yeah. They like the I don't think there was any weekend where there was prasad given and they did not have anybody come by. There was every time I got people to participate. Yeah. They don't stay, but they're going to participate. Yeah.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will bless them if they can do that much. Huh?
Right.
Jai Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there.
Right.
Yeah. It's you know, it's my I know there was a donation coming up for people, but my Facebook donation is messed up because it's when I put when I click on any donation, it kind of takes into a different credit card. There's something fraud going on into that. I have not been able to understand it. I gave something to St. Jude Children's Hospital, Doctors Without Borders, and they took it and put a different amount. I don't know what is going on. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know you have a upcoming donation coming up, but I'll see. Yeah,
on Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook, when I click on it, it takes a credit card, which is like, and puts an amount. As soon as I touch it, it puts an amount. So I was really scared to touch anything right now in Facebook. Yeah.
So I hope it's not too cold tomorrow.
I like the cold weather, even if it's cold. I'll be there.
We're going to have it inside the Y. We're going to have inside the YMCA instead of outside tomorrow.
Oh, it's going to be inside. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's even better. Yeah. Okay.
You have to put the sign outside, though, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hope that people will come in.
Yeah. Maybe one day Small World will allow us to distribute from Small World. The Small World, the crowd in Small World is kind of very. They will be very interested to know about Krishna. Yeah, the crowd in Small World is like that, but hopefully they might allow us someday.
Where is that?
Small World is right 2 blocks from YMCA.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the coffee shop that you mentioned to me?
Yeah, right. Small World Coffee. Yeah. They have they do things like that T-shirts will say Om. They're not into any religion, but they're very much into experimenting with Eastern stuff. Like they have T-shirts with Om and they have turmeric. It's very upscale. Small World's a very upscale coffee shop, but the crowd.
Put a sign there.
Yeah.
Pamphlets or whatever.
Yeah, you can put a sign. Yeah, or I'll bring some sign. Maybe I'll put it up there. The sign in the way there was a sign in the YMCA in the lobby, but it's taken down. I saw the sign once before, but the sign has gone down. Somebody's taken the sign down in the YMCA lobby. That's come down. Yeah. So. Right.
So we have kirtan. You want to?
I got somebody else who's from Princeton High School. He said he joined a couple of times. He's a young kid with beard. He said, yeah, he came and joined us at 1 o'clock on Saturday, but I personally did not see him. But I had Mr. Keshavadas talk to him, and there are people interested.
You met with him again? The guy from the YMCA shower?
Right. He said,
when did you see him last?
Yeah, just a few days ago. And he said, oh yeah, I came by, I joined the group and stuff. And well, I said, I did not see you. And he said, well, yeah.
Yeah, I told him about tomorrow. Hopefully he comes.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
You need to kirtan?
Buck, if you want, what I could do is I can meet you before that in Small World Coffee, and or what I could do. No, you don't have to do anything. I'll come by and take a poster tomorrow at 1 o'clock from you and put it in Small World Coffee. I'll go to Small World from there, and then I'll talk to people, see if I can generate some interest. Then I'll come by again. So that's what we'll do.
Okay.
I'll get a poster from you. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Yeah.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Gaura Bhakta
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Gaura Bhakta
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Daddy, I have a question for you.
Rama
You blank
Hare
labels like
Rama,
this? You
Rama
blank labels like this?
Rama,
None?
Hare Hare,
You used to have so many
Hare
options.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo.
Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo.
Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Guru Re, Guru Re, Jaya Jaya Guru Re.
The Gurudev, Srila Pradev, Srila Santa Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Girid Govardhan ki jai.
Jai.
Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Jai.
All glory to the worldwide devotees ki jai.
Jai.
Oh, Premanandi, Hari Hari Hari. We had Bruce Springsteen with us today.
Well, no, scientific video was on. Oh, dear, oh dear. Sorry,
Yeah, you look like Santa Claus. That's a stamp.
my
Santa Claus stamp.
Okay, let's see. Page, oh wait. I'm going to do page 38. Vandana prayers.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, so American watching football? We're Americans, man. What? What?
Okay. Vandeham.
Vandeham Shri Guru
Yuta Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sri Rupa Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaita Sadvarutam Parishana Sarita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shiva Shakanvitam Shah Om Agnati Midam Ranjana Sakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Puja Shri Guru Vargamandita Mahabhavitaya Sada Purva Parya Parampara Pachalita Pragya Pramurta Vite Bhakti Marane Swamasya Nivitam Sarakshakam Sadhana Vande Shri Guru Devam Ananta Shri Acharya Paramisham Purva Vista Sapurukam Guru Ganai Ashisha Samusitam Chintya Chintya Samastane Sri Rupa Patana Nugam Vindabdidam Purvam Paratanam Bhakyanvitam Sundaram Vande Vishnu Dalum Chadivya Bhagavad Prema Vicharatanam Devam Divyatanam Suchandavaranam Balarsachetam Chitam Sandhananda Puram Sedekadanam Vairagi Vidyam Shri Sanatani Devi Sumati Saraswatanam Param Vande Tam Sundam Vipashanam Dashi Swaram Shri Radha Shri Sanatana Saraswati Vidito Gaudiya Bhatto Dhanurva Bhattacharya Yogo Rasa Kirtanai Mayavada Yoga Uditya Chitanam Krishna Prema Siddham Siddham Prabhu Namo Kishoraya Bhakta Orangri Radhabhava Vande Bhakti Vinodam Sri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shashragya Samrata Radharasa Tarupa Sarupakam Bhakta Namami Bhakti Shastikam Namo
Mahabadanaya
Krishna
Krishna
Prema
Prema Pradayate
Krishnaya
Krishnaya
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Namne Gaura
Gaurahari Namaha
Jayatam
Jayatam
Sarvabhavantur Mavamanda Pratyanatri Matsarva Swaparambo Radhamadano Divya Vrindananda Padurvara Srimad Radha Sri Ganga Vishnu Govindevo Vaisali Smarami Sri Vanrasa Sarami Vangsivata Tatasvita Varshanti Rusvara Gopi Gopinata Shri Krishna Vindaya Tulsideva Priyaya Kesavasya Krishna Bhakti Devi
Satyavacaya
Namo
Namo
Bhattanatha
Vinatva Mantra Guru
Purun Bhagavatam
Bhagavatam
Yasam Jagata Gurudata Tato Jaya Murtire Jai
Jai
Satya Shri
Sakarika Shri
Guru
Guru
Varanga
Gauranga
Vata
Gandharva Govinda
Vinda Sripad
Sripad
Padmanam Jai
Padmanam
Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara
Gadadhara
Shri Vasari
Srivasari
Gaura
Gaura
Bhaktivinoda
Bhaktivinoda
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hare
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 Rama
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama
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 Hare
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 And Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shankar Maharaj ki jai.
Jai
Jai Giri Govardhan ki jai.
Jai
Jai Go Premanandi Hari Hari Hari. Oh,
Harimo Jai on the Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Jai
Jai.
Jai Krishna Kesava Prabhu, Srimati Devi, Dalini Devi, Dr. Tony, and Sripad Amir Sindhu Prabhu ki jai.
Jai
All right. Now page 16. Don't do that. Don't worry about it. It's okay. All right, who would like to sing? Okay. Thank you, Srimati.
Yashomati Nandana Gokularanjanakana
Yasomati Nandana Brajabharanagara
Brajabharanagara
Gokula
Gokularanjanakana
Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manohara Kaliyadamana Vidhana
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidhana
Amala Harina Matiya Vilasa
Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa
Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Para Vanshivadana Suvasa
Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Vara Vamsivadana Suvasa
Brajajana Pala Surakulana Nagodhanara Koyala
Rajajana Palana Sura Kulanasana Nanda Godhana Rakoyala
Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala
Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasana Hara Rasara Sita Kripamoya
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vashanahara Rasarasika Kripamoya
Sri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara Bhakti Vinoda Shraya
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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev
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 Gurudev Gurudev Gurudev Gurudev
Gurudev Gurudev Gurudev
Jaya Shila Bhakti Vinoda Thakur Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. All right. And 58. I'm trying to sing this. You don't have so many people today.
I can sing.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, Daddy.
All right.
Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Edashe Koruna Kori.
Vaishnava
Thakura Dayadha Sagara Edase Karuna Kori
Dia Pada Chaya, Sodohe Amaya, Tomara Charana Dari.
Dia Pada Chaya Sarahe Amaya Tomara Charana Dari
Jaya Vegadami, Jaya Dosha Shodhi, Jaya Guna Dehadashe.
Jaya Vegadami, Jaya Dosa Shodhi, Jaya Guna Dehadase.
Jaya satsanga, deho he amare, baseshi sangera she.
Jaya satsanga, deha he amare, baseshi sangera ase.
Aki amara, nahi pai bolo, harinama.
Ekaki amar, nahi paya bolo, harinama sankirtane.
Ome kripa kori, Radha bindu diya, deha Krishna namadane.
Tumi kripa kori, Shadha bindu diya, deha Krishna namadhane.
Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite para, tomara sakatiya che.
Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite para, tomara shakati hache.
Amito Kangala, Krishna Krishna Bali, Daitava Pache Pache.
Amita Kangala, Krishna Krishna Boli, Daitava Pache Pache.
Amita Itava Pache Pache.
Amita Itava Pache Pache.
Krishna Dana Pabarashe, Daitava Pache Pache.
Krishna Dana Pabarase, Daitava Pache Pache.
Tumi dile Krishna dite para.
Tumi dile Krishna dite para.
Krishna tomari de dan, tumi dilyo dite para.
Krishna tomar hridaya dan, tumi dile odite para.
Krishna devar sakti dara, tumi dilyo dite para.
Krishna deva shakti dara, tumi dile odite para.
Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj.
Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj. Jai.
It's 65. Okay. Krishna, you want to say? Okay.
Nitai pada kamala, Chandra Sushitala, Ye Chaya Jagata Sudhaya.
Nitai pada kamala, Koti Chandra Sushitala, Ye Chaya Jagata Judaya.
Krishna Nitai Vinibai, Radha Krishna Purtinai, Ridhakari Dharani Tayarapai.
Hey Nitai Vinibai, Radha Krishna Paitinai, Ridhakari Dharani Tayarapai.
Sambandhanahiyara,
Drita Janma Gilatara Se Pashu Bhadadurachara
Se Sambandanahiya Rita Janma Gilatara Se Pasu Bhadadurachara
Nitai na balila muke,
Ajila
ajila
samsara
samsara
suke
suke, vidya kule hikari betara.
Nitai na balila muke, majila samsara suke, vidya kule hikari betara.
Ahankare mata hoina,
Nitai
nitai
pada
pada
pasariya
pasariya,
Asatyere
asatyere
satyakari
satyakari
mani
mani.
Ahankara matavaina, nitai para pasariya, asatyere satya korimani.
Nitaye
Nitaye
Karuna
karuna habe,
Raje
Raje
Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna
Pade
Pade,
Dharani
Dhara Nitaye
Charandu Kani
Charandukarani.
Nitaye karuna hobe, Raja Radha Krishna Pade, Dharanitaye Charadukani.
Nitaye
Charana
Charana
Satya
Satya,
Tanhara
Tanhara
Sevaka
Sevakanitya,
Nitai
Nitai
Pada
Pada
Sarakara
Sarakara
Sa
Asa.
Anitaye Charana Satya, Tanhara Sevakanitya, Nitai Pad Sarakoroasa.
Narotama
Narotama
Bhadadu
Bhadaduki,
Nitai
Nitai
More
More
Karashuki
Karashuki,
Rakaranga
Rakaranga
Charaneda
Charaneda
Papasa
Pasa.
Narotama Bhadaduki, Nitai More Karasuki, Rakaranga Charane Papa.
Jaya
Dayamitai,
Nitai, Jaya
Dayamitai,
Nitai, Jaya
Dayamitai,
Nitai,
Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Dayamitai,
Nitai.
Jaya Daya Nitai, Daya Nitai, Daya Nitai, Jaya Daya Nitai.
Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Dayamitai,
Nitai, Jaya
Dayamitai,
Nitai, Jaya
Dayamitai,
Nitai,
Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Dayamitai.
Nitai.
Jaya Daya Nitai, Jaya Daya Nitai, Daya Nitai, Jaya Daya Nitai. Jai Hari Bol, Dara Tanda, and one more. Page 113. Oh, okay. Goranga bolite habe, puraka sharira, hari hari bolite nayane, vabedira.
Goranga
Bolite
bolite
Habe,
habe,
Mulaka
mulaka
Sarira,
sarira.
Hari
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 Bolite
bolite
Nayane,
nayane,
Vabedira.
vabedira.
Ora kabe nitai chanda, karuna karibe samsara vasanabe habe tu chahabe
Kabe Nitai Chanda Karuna Karibe Samsara Bashana More Kabe Tuchabe
Vishaya chadiya kabe surahabe mana kabe hamari bashri vrindavana
Ishaya Chadiya Kabe Shurahabe Mana Kabe Hamahera Bashri Vrindavana
rupa ragunata pade koibe atuti kabe hamahu jabaise yugala piriti
Raghunatha Pade Aibeya Puti Kabe Hama Bujabase Yugala Piriti
Paragunata pade Ramu Mohasa Partana kare sada Naro tamoda
Rupa Raghunatha Pade Rahu Mora Asa Pratana Karaye Sada Narotamasa
Jai Narottam Das Thakur ki Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki
Jai.
on 65.
Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
Idi Radhi Gopinath Madana Mohan
Giri Hari Gopinath Madana Mohan
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra
Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raguna
Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raguna
Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raguna
Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna
Vichaya Goshan Kori Charana Vandan
Ichaya Goshani Kare Charana Bandhan
Yaha Hoite Vignanas Avishta Puram
Yaha Hoite Vignana Sabishta Puran
Vichaya Goshan Yar Moi Taradas
Vichaya Goshani Haramui Taradas
Tan Sabara Parurenu Mora Pramsagras
Kansabara Padarenu Mura Panchagras.
Andira Charana Sevi Bhakta Saneva.
Andira Charana Sevi Bhakta Saneva.
Janame More Abhilas.
Janame Mora E Abilas.
Chai Goshanyo Vraja Kailavas.
Vichai Goshani Yabe Braje Kailavas.
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Karila Prakash.
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Karila Prakash.
Nanda Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Sri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majiya Mana.
Sri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriya.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Kariyas.
Harinama Sankirtana Kahe Narottamo Das.
Harinama Sankirtana Kahe Narottama Das.
Nama Sankirtana Kare Notamona Dasa.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Now, I think we'll start reading from our Prapanna Jivanamrita, where we left off. Page 104.
Yeah.
Okay. Joy Harinam Sankirtana Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnava Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Bhakti Sri Bhakti Rakshak Swami Maharaja Ki Jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Swami
Jai.
Bhakti Nirmala Jai Maharaja Ki
Jai.
Jai. Maharaja Ki Jai.
Jai.
All right. Sri Vimrigya Sri Harinama Samshrayanam Eva Parama Muktanam Vajanam Nikila Shruti Morid Aratnamala Duti Nirajita Padapalita I Mukta Kular Upasayamana Sattvam Harinam Samshayami Sri Rupa Paranam. The pure devotional service rendered by the great liberated souls, complete refuge in the holy name of the Lord as sought after by all the Vedas. The pure devotional service rendered by the great liberated souls is complete refuge in the holy name of the Lord as sought after by all the Vedas. The acme of all the Vedas, the Upanishads, are like a string of transcendental jewels. The tips of the toes of your lotus feet, O holy name, are eternally worshipped. From those jewels, you are constantly worshipped by great liberated souls headed by Rakshak, whose hearts are reposed in complete absence of worldly aspirations. Therefore, O holy name, O divine name, I surrender unto you in every time, place, and circumstance. Sri Rupa Goswami. There's a verse. composed by Rupa Goswami. Our Abhideya Charya. Abhideya means the Charya of the path. Abhideya. There's Sambandha, Abhideya Prayojan. Sambandha means knowledge of our position. Abhideya means the knowledge of our path. And Prayojan means knowledge of the goal. So Rupa Goswami is the Acharya of the path. Abhideya. And this path is explained as taking complete refuge in the holy name of the Lord, as described by the Vedas. Mahaprabhu is given this path for the conditioned souls of the Kali Yuga. No matter how fallen they are, or that we are, no matter how fallen, doesn't require one become a pure devotee. One only qualification one needs is that you are fallen.
Dhanyavad Maharaj.
A fallen
Dhanyavad
conditioned
Maharaj.
soul. Please let me finish, Prabhu.
Yeah, please. Sorry, Maharaj. I'm so sorry for interrupting you, but
Only condition is that you are fallen. That you are fallen conditioned soul. Then, if you have that qualification in the Kali Yuga, you can take up the chanting of the holy name. Then you must seek refuge in the holy name. Who can do this? They can get perfection. No other qualification is needed. You have to be a most fallen soul, that's all. The more fallen you are, the more qualified you are. Because only fallen soul can pray intensely from the humble position. I am so fallen, my Lord. I have no help, no aspiration, no hope, except your holy name. And this was Mahaprabhu's teaching. Don't come to Mahaprabhu or the holy name of the Lord thinking I'm a great scholar. I am very disciplined sannyasi or brahmachari or whatever. I'm a very dutiful householder. All these things, I'm a very good scholar of the Vedas. These things won't help us. These things won't help us. Only thing will help us if we are very fallen and praying intently to the Lord. I am the most fallen soul, without any insincerity in that. I am the most fallen soul, most fallen. That is my qualification, O Lord. Therefore, you come just for this purpose, to pick up these fallen souls of the Kali Yuga. You kindly look after me, therefore. That is your duty, that is your business in this Kali Yuga, to look after these fallen souls. And here I am, the prime example of that. Therefore, don't neglect me. Please don't neglect. This is the process, this Kali Yuga. This is the process. Complete refuge in the holy name of the Lord. Is anyone unqualified to do that?
No.
No one. Only those who don't do it. They can't do it. Who don't even have that much intelligence to say Hare Krishna. So of all the things that we can do when we're preaching, the most important one is to humbly and earnestly request, please chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna. This will save me. No other need, no other necessity is there. Only this. Even once if they chant, Krishna Mahaprabhu will not forget them. Very important. And we chant, and we try to ask others to finally chant. So, of course, there's much more involved as far as we want to make progress, further progress on the way. But this will be what Mahaprabhu has requested us, and what Rupa Goswami has also requested. Haritas Tvam Harinam Samshayami. Just take shelter in the holy name of the Lord. Without giving up all other worldly aspirations. What's that?
In the last sentence of the translation, it says in every time, place, or circumstance, but I don't see the Sanskrit kala patra. In the last sentence, it says
every time, place, and circumstance.
I don't see that here.
I don't know. Basic idea is that I don't know the Sanskrit so well to say where that is.
The time, place, circumstance is normally kala patra klesha or something, right? Klesha, kala patra something.
I don't know all the meaning of the Sanskrit words here, how that is interpreted.
Dandava Maharaj?
Dhanyavad, yes, Prabhu.
May I ask a question, please, Maharaj?
Of course, yes, Prabhu.
I'm sorry for interrupting things, but thank you very much. We got corrections because sometimes a lot of microphones were open all at the same time, and it was very, very difficult to hear what you were saying because of echoes and delays. But thank you so much for correction. Krishna Kesava has sorted that out, I think. Maharaj, can I ask one please question?
Yes.
And that is with regard to consciousness and matter. Does consciousness need matter in order to be conscious? And where does matter come in to getting the facility of having consciousness of itself as matter? In other words, your basic question was, I'm just trying to think, does consciousness need matter in order to exist within this particular material universe or this sloka? And is that what transcendental means? That in fact, consciousness transcends material existence in order to exist. And through Krishna and Guru, or through Guru and Pampara, that we get a notion of how this may possibly be realized within our own material existence, of a material existence with consciousness within it. I'm sorry, Maharaj, if this is an inappropriate question, please forgive me.
Oh, no, a very nice question. The thing is this, there's something called material consciousness. Okay?
Yeah.
Material consciousness can mean consciousness of nature. Nature. How we interpret nature, that's another question. Not everyone interprets nature as material. But in the consciousness of nature, in other words, whatever is around us, our environment, in its immediate sense, we call it the immediacy of nature, what is given to us, what we take as given to us, we may call that matter, we may call that nature. Depends on one's understanding, one's knowledge. The current material scientists, that we call matter. Nature is called matter by the material scientists. They understand it that way, as made of atoms, molecules, etc. That kind of matter. In the Sankhya philosophy, they called it earth, water, fire, air, ether. And mind, intelligence, ego, they were also called material. And today we don't include mind, intelligence, and ego as part of matter. But they consider that matter, material or matter. So
Sorry,
even,
Mr. Maharaj, can we use the screen share, Krishna Casey? Can you use the screen share? Thanks. Yeah, very much. Excellent. Thank you. Sorry, Maharaj. Sorry. Go ahead, please.
so Sankhya called those 8 elements matter. Today the scientists only call earth, water, fire, air, ether, or the sense objects, the objects of the senses. They call that matter. So when consciousness is only limited, when consciousness is described as limited within the 5 senses, and in some cases, the mind, intelligence, and ego, in the Sankhya case, then that's called matter. You can think of it as subject matter. The matter is the subject matter of consciousness. So consciousness requires some kind of a subject matter or an object of consciousness. In that sense, matter is necessary because it's the content, the object of consciousness. But if one who is more advanced than the senses, who understands there can be an object more than just the senses, then you can have a consciousness of something that is not matter. What is that, for instance? So the philosophers, they take as their object concepts. They have an object too that they think about, but that object is for them concepts or thoughts, ideas. So they have for their content of their consciousness is something different than matter. When consciousness takes itself as its own object, consciousness becomes conscious of itself. When you start thinking about your own consciousness, consciousness becomes your object. That is called self-consciousness. So it's possible for consciousness to have different types of objects, depending on how high it is thinking, how high it is seeing things. So in the case of Kant, for instance, at that period when philosophy was developed to a certain stage where the subject became very important. The subject, the thinkings, Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." So he was seeing thinking and consciousness, you could say, at a very high level. He was seeing consciousness in terms of I think, or thinking. Because thinking is there, therefore I am. So he had thinking as his object. Being, he said, I am. That means being. I am being. I have being. I have existence because I'm thinking. So he is placing object at that very high level. What he was thinking about was the being of himself. So this can go on in different ways. Now the highest position is when spirit, you reach spirit, and spirit understands everything to be itself. What is that? I'm trying to think of that verse. Brahmabhuta prasanatma. Nasochati na kankshati. Samak sarveshu bhuteshu. Mad bhaktim labhate param. So when spirit can understand itself, that everything is spirit, then the higher stage. Brahmabhuta stage is called the very happy state. So there you don't hanker or lament for anything because you know it's all spirit. You're not Krishna. Arjuna was complaining, I have to kill all these people. So he was on the material level. But Krishna explained to him that when you're in the Buddha platform, the spiritual platform, you can see everyone is a Bhut. Everyone is a spirit. Brahma Bhut, not a Jada Bhut. Jada Bhut means a material body, material the conditioned soul. But Brahmabhut means one who is a spiritual body, a spiritual self. It's like that. The object of consciousness can change depending upon the development of consciousness. One who has a more developed consciousness, they can see a more developed sense of objects. So the process of liberation, Srila Maharaj called positive and progressive, positive and progressive evolution of consciousness. Depending how one evolves or progresses his own spiritual development, he can understand these things.
Maharaj, thank you so much for your explanation.
Okay. You're
Most
welcome.
great.
Okay.
Maharaj, I came across something today, which possibly, sorry, may I just be for a fraction? Anyway, can't get it exactly, but this is part of Maharaj. This is it's actually called it's called the Music Lovers Portfolio. I discovered it quite by accident this afternoon, and whilst I have a piano and so on, I'm not very dexterous with piano and so on, but within it I came across an incredible piece of paper, which was the poet Tandor, or sorry, what's his name? Tanduri.
Tagore.
Yeah, Jihad. Sorry, forgive me. Yes, handwritten note with music. I think he was learning music in England. And this book, I think, may have been in his possession. But irrespective of all of that, it is that I came across an interpretation as to how one should interpret how to play the Moonlight Sonata. And it is quite exceptional. But what I'm trying to say is that, again, through time, and we have so many wonderful, I noticed that we published Guru Acharya Maharaja's November Sangha when he was with us only about a week ago, I think, on the Math channel. And what I'm talking about really is the transcendenceness of time, if there is such a word. And that, how should I say, it'd be kind of like standing with a load of mirrors behind you and forward and backward at different angles. So you can put a simple object like a harmonica in front of you. I would see it this way, and somebody's going to see it that way. And depending on where you are in the room, you'll all see it in different ways. And the same way, such as incredible music manuscripts and things like that, being the, how should I say, the material propensity of Krishna's manifestations, enchanting the actual paper and the work, and you shall understand the fractal implications and the ripples and so on of the creations of such, well, it's just simply hard to say, but how wonderful to be alive, to enjoy all the wonderful things from music to ancient papers and inspiring us, and ancient writings and new thinking and so on. But at the heart of it all is what's in the heart, and it is that it is all manifestations of the incredible glories of the Lord, and how he does manifest himself in so many different ways, from present to now and so on. And that is the real reason why I asked Maharaj, was that consciousness needing what we have, the most incredible facility that we've got, an opportunity, a physical manifestation in which to, how should I say, create within the physical manifestation and use the energies and the properties and the talents and everything that we have to glorify the Lord
All right.
and serve Krishna through Guru.
Okay.
Dhanyavad Maharaj.
Wait a minute. Does anyone have any, Nalini? Do you have any questions or anything that you wanted to ask about what we're talking about? We don't hear you. You're muted. You're
I'm
muted.
sorry. Yes, I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm sorry. I will watch the video, so I will make the question
Oh, I
because
see. Okay.
I'm sorry, but she has questions. Tem pergunta?
Tenho.
Yes. Perguntando. 1 minute, please. Que houve pergunta? Qual foi a pergunta?
Somente saber que somos alma não acaba com a identificação com o corpo material.
Tá, é isso.
Para se colocar sob a proteção do Senhor. Somente saber que se é uma alma.
Ok. 1 minute, please.
Okay.
Não significa que
Não acaba com a identificação com
tá.
o corpo material.
Just knowing that you are a soul does not end with the material concept of I, of myself. Just knowing that I am the soul. But how I can understand really that I am not the body? I think that I understand what she's trying to ask, because
E se colocar sob o abrigo do Senhor.
you it's the dogs. But the question is what I can do, but just knowing that I am the soul, to end with my conception of myself that is the body. It makes sense.
Hare Krishna. All right. Haribo.
Madhu, vem cá. Madhu, vem cá.
Vem cá, Madhu. Ai, que bonitinho.
Ai, he's a good boy.
Okay. When
Yeah.
when you tell somebody, this is my body, huh? You tell somebody, this is my body. This is my body. My body. Why do you say my? You don't say this is I body. You don't say this is I body. You say this is my body. When you say my, you indicate two things. You indicate there's the body and there's the possessor of the body. When you say this is my car, this is my house, you understand that there's you and there's the house, there's you and there's the car. So when you say this is my body, you indicate there is you and you also indicate there is a body. You don't say I house or I car. No? My body, not I body. In Portuguese, I don't know how they say it.
Body, it's corpo, e my é meu.
How
Meu
do you-
corpo.
Mio corpo, huh? So mio.
Yes.
Mio.
Yes, kind. Meu
Me.
corpo.
Me. I mean, so
Meu.
male. So
mine.
some you are referring to me, you're referring to I. So another thing we have to understand is when we say I, we say something that everybody says. Everybody says I. Everybody says I. So I is something that is called universal. Universal. Do you know the meaning of universal? Like when you look at a tree, when you look at a tree, you say tree. That is a tree. But when you look at another tree, you say that is a tree. And people will say, well, what do you mean? This is a tree, that's a tree. How can they be the two different trees? Why are you saying the same word? Right? Then you point to any tree and you say, they're all trees. But they're all different. Then what is the difference between tree and that actual thing that's there, standing, that you're pointing to? There's a difference. But when you say tree, 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 you don't make any difference. That tree is called universal because it applies to all trees. So tree is different from an individual tree, and yet it's the same as the tree. When you say cow, cow, now that's a cow, that's a cow, that's a cow, all are cows, but they're all different. So cow, the idea of cow and the cows that you're pointing to, there's some difference. One is called singular, the singular cow that you're pointing to, and one is called universal, the one cow that you mean, the idea, the cow, the tree, the cat, the dog. These are all universal. But there's also the individual thing. So there's universal and there's individual, two things. And the same thing when you say I. I say I, Nalindi says I, Krishna Kesava says I, Amiya Sindhu says I, everybody says I. But they're different. We're different from one another. Why do we all say by the same name? If everybody was the same name, we get confused, no? But you're an I for Srimati Devi. She's I, Nalindi Devi. Amiya's I, Amiya Devi, Amiya Das is Sindhu, and Krishna Kesava, an I for Krishna Kesava. But all are I. So there's a difference between I and the individual person, although we don't make, although we don't know that difference. We don't recognize when we're saying it, but it's there. Understand, it's there. So there's a difference. I is universal. And it's also singular. This is called the Chintya Beta Beta Tattva. One and different. A contradiction. It's a contradiction.
So this is same as soul and body.
But it's still there. It exists. Is it clear? A little bit. Little pocacito. You think, you have to think. Think about these things. Think.
All right. So we started with my body, saying my, the possessor of
Are
the
you
body.
talking about? There are five.
So when we were saying my body, you were talking about the possessor of the body. Body is the thing, and my references.
The possessor and the thing possessed.
Yes. Meaning the possessor is the actual soul. That's how we can identify, because we're always doing it anyway. So then we jump to individual and universal. So then how can we relate more? How can we bridge that more? It might not be so clear for me.
Well, we don't want to get into that. If it's easy to understand what I said, then we don't have to go to further details. As long as we understand the difference, and they're related. I don't point to the cow as a tree. Cow is related to the cow. Tree is related to the tree. So although they're different, there's some connection, some relationship.
Maharaj. Dhanyavad, Maharaj.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you so much for the explanation.
Yes, you're welcome.
Maharaj, one very quick question, if I may.
Okay.
I really don't mean to be a torment, and I know I torment you, but I really don't mean to be a torment. But in the teachings of Queen Kunti, there is a reference about lions and tigers, and there's a biblical reference actually as well about the lion sitting down with the lamb, and I'm sure you're quite familiar with what I refer to with regard to a particular episode. I think it's chapter 7 or 8 or so on. But it seems that passivity, for want of a better word, is in other words, the lion lies down with the lamb, and it would seem that this is, I think it's some kind of a description of Vrindavan, but it would seem unwholesomely unnaturous for a lion to lie down with the lamb, as much as the story of the scorpion crossing with the frog on its back, the lake. Yeah, and he stabs the frog eventually, and it's because he said, "Why did you do that?" Because it's my nature. So the nature of animals and various material creatures, they have an inherent, perhaps this is more accurate phraseology, the inherent nature within each creature as per its particular disposition in being alive at this moment in time, and our, as human beings, disposition, and not following our lower nature, but aspiring towards our higher nature. Hence civilization, yeah. And yet still the proposition of the Darwinian crazy notions, yeah. Perhaps maybe it's a bit too complicated, because I understand that we have Portuguese and Spanish devotees as well. Maharaj, I should address many more of these issues at another date, because it's probably inappropriate. We should simply say thank you for your presence and thank you for your explanations. You have explained many of these things as well in some of the science conferences that were held last year and so on. So again, for, how should I say, unilateral communication, Haribol, 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 Haribol.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other question, Nalini?
Yes, actually, Srimad has a question that is related with the another.
You're a very thoughtful person.
Yes, yes, she is. His question is how to act accordingly, knowing that you are a soul, still identified with the body. It's
Well, Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita, and Mahaprabhu explains also in his teachings. So Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, as a soul, we have to focus our attention upon him, not so much on the material affairs. We focus, the soul means the part and parcel of Krishna. We are part of Krishna, part and parcel of Krishna. Energy, Krishna energy. So our business is to act in the surrendered, as a surrendered energy. Surrendered soul means we follow his will. And his will is manifest to us in the form of Gurudev, Acharya Mang Vijnanayat. It comes in the form of Gurudev. And if we can follow the Acharya's instruction, then that is what we should be doing. Following the instruction, that means serving Guru, serving Vaishnavas. That is our life. That is the meaning of the soul life. So life is to follow Guru, follow Krishna's will, and act according to in that way in a very serving, humble, serving, and loving mood. And Mahaprabhu made it even simpler. And if you can chant Hare Krishna, then you are doing your duty. And always take shelter in the holy name. It's the same thing that Krishna taught. By chanting Hare Krishna, our mind is always fixed on Krishna. That should be the idea. We don't chant Hare Krishna and thinking about other things. When we chant the holy name, we think about Krishna. And chanting the holy name means not only sitting down and chanting, but going out and talking to people and telling them chant Hare Krishna. Telling them about Krishna. Talks about Krishna are also Harikatha. That's also Harinam. Harikatha, Harinam, these are the same thing. And service of the devotee, service of the deity, service of Guru, that is also Harinam. Serving prasad. So many different ways. The soul can be engaged in its proper activity. And the body will follow. Okay? Haribo, Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai, Haribol.
Haribo.
So let's read one more verse. Oh, this is the end of the chapter. Iti Sri Prapanna Jivanamrita, Sri Bhakti Vachanamrita, Amrit Tan Taragatam, Goptitve Varanam Nama Vasto, Shasto, Dhyayaha. Embracing the Lord's guardianship, words of nectar from the devotees in life nectar of the surrendered souls, positive and progressive immortality. Dry. This we explained. This Goptitve Varanam. Goptitve Varanam means accepting the Lord as our guardian. Lord as our guardian means accepting the Guru as our Lord. Guru is our master, Lord and master. And accepting his guidance. This is called Goptitve Varanam. The highest, the most important limb of devotion, of surrender. 7, words of nectar from the devotees. Atma Nikshepana, full self-surrender. That's page 108, text number 3. 1, 2, and 3. Arodhitadi Sudatma, Aryantasya Samarpanam, Eva Nishesha Rupena, Yatma Nikshepa Bhatyuchate, Atmartha Chesta Sunyatvam, Krishnartaika Paryashtakam, Apitanyasta Sadyatva, Sadhanatvam Chatat Palham, Evam Nikshipya Satmanam, Svanata Sadhanam Bhujat, Nakarstam Sanyudachchapi, Sadatanmayatam Bhajet. To summarily offer everything from body and its paraphernalia up to the pure soul unto the lotus feet of Sri Hari is known as Atma Nikshepaha, or full surrender, self-surrender. All selfish pursuits are abandoned, and every endeavor is for Krishna alone, and that too up to the point of completely depending on Krishna for one's personal means and ends. Having thus cast oneself unto the holy lotus feet of one's Lord, one can never be swayed from that position, and he engaged in pure devotional service with all his heart forever. Oh, what more can we say? This complete surrender. God, Haribo. I don't think I could add anything to what is right there. The next verse. Atma nikshepas tatmani vedana rupam Krishna Yarpita dehasya nirmamasyana kankrite manasastat swarupatpam smitamatmani vedam. Sanchit. Self-dedication is self-sacrifice. Of one who out of love for Krishna has died to live exclusively for the Lord's service, who is devoid of attachment for any other objective, and who is free from egotism, his godly mentality or absence of pursuit for personal pleasure and quest of the Lord's pleasure is known as Atmanivedana, full sacrifice, a revered votary. To die to live. Guru Maharaj always speaks of this: die to live. Die to live means you do all the service to Krishna, and all other endeavors are stop. Let all other services stop or die, and only your service to Krishna as your only life. And the meaning of die to live means serve Krishna and don't serve other things. We don't have any separate identity, and servitor of Krishna. Egotism means non-egotism means I have no other service but that of Krishna. I don't aspire, I have no ambition for anything other than the service of Krishna. I'm not looking for some fame, name, wealth, beauty, whatever. Don't have any ambition for those things. Only I want the service of my Lord. My only ambition. Then die to live. Who can take that mentality? Krishna will supply everything for them. I don't need anything else. Okay. Any questions? Any more questions? All right. My humble dandavats. My humble dandavats, Prabhus. Please have a good week. Happy week. Stay healthy. Always remember Krishna. My dandavats.
Jai Guru. Haribo, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai.
Puri Maharaj, Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Maharaj, thank you so much for your wonderful, wonderful association this evening. And I know it was a little bit complicated, and we do miss Jadu Gopal for his wonderful translation. As Ashanta Maharaj often describes him, he's a transcendental interpreter. A transcendental interpreter.
Yes.
He does Spanish, Portuguese, and things. So please forgive me, Nani Devi Dasi. Please forgive me for I talk too much. I speak too much. I'm a crazy person, but I simply am so much delighted for your association and putting up with my nonsense. because I try to learn various things. I'm alive now, very old man. I have hearing aids in. I used to be professional sound engineer. Everybody, Enya, U2, you name it, chieftains, blah, blah, woof, 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 woof. Many, many, many millions of artists, Prince, yeah, Zappa. I used to be engineer, and all the time, Krishna, 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 Ishvara. And like I found something today, if I may just share with you, because this is an instrument, most excellent instrument, which I brought home from India. You play with a bow, but also I have flute. Now, ego, no ego. This is simply, I have energy to exploit. And every note I play, I never play without dedicating in service to Guru. But I came across amazing 1812 manuscript, many manuscripts of music. Now I can read music, and some of there were sorry, Maharaj, taking up time, but one of the important things I think, particularly with what we were seeing, as much as everything else, because everything belongs to Krishna, everything is all Krishna, and in this particular thing, I have various interpretations of various music, so many things, Bach, Schumann, Beethoven, and so on. And within this, I do not believe that that particular book has been touched, probably for maybe 100 years. And I know I don't have gloves on when I'm touching it and so on, but it is the same thing, is that one can read Bhagavad Gita and one phrase, or one can get a pamphlet when one is doing, like for example, in Spain, I found a load of old Bhagavad Gita books that were actually printed in Spanish from ISKCON. And they were all original Prabhupada books, maybe about 40 books and so on. But because I can't walk very well, I had a machine which I drove around, and as I went around the promenade, I handed out books, and I had tape recorder on the back with speakers in the front, just simply Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And I wasn't very popular with the police, but a lot of people very much enjoyed the fact that they were able to see something that they did recognize from wherever they were, because most of them were tourists from around Europe. Oh my goodness, how much I would have loved to do a Sankirtan on the street and so on. But you use whatever facilities are available, and it's amazing. Even though one can be physically compromised, as long as Ishvara lives within the heart and service to Guru maintains, and everything one does from the moment one wakes up. Why do birds make such a racket first time in the morning? Because they made it through the night. And the same with ourselves. I wake up, I have to smile because I'm alive again. And reinvent and see Krishna in brand new ways. In new ways I never even thought, even though I've been on the planet a long, long time. Maharaj, you're a total inspiration. Your voice is so melodious, and thank you so much last week for you leading Sankirtan. Because I'm from Western, even though I understand Eastern melodies and so on, I often find it very difficult to, how should I say, let the atoms and molecules all come together in this incredible glorification of Krishna, who provides everything from the big dogs barking to the birds chirping to the wonderful laughter in the wonderful laughter in your voice, Maharaj, Puri Maharaj. I just love the sound of your voice. You have a wonderful voice, wonderful presentation, and you are most delicate in being able to deal with difficult individuals such as I. Thank you, Maharaj. Dhanyavad.
Hari Bol, Dandavad.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Jai Gurudev.